thank Oliver for a great coordination and the rest of the technical crew as well. Usually they do the work and we come to stand and take all the glory and the accolades, speak all the nice English and the language. But Oliver, Lawson, Bismarck, Andy, the rest of the team as well, Amocho, Mati, Free SHS, all of them.
All of them. How are you feeling after seeing firsthand?
I have to say it's a bit emotional. It's not. I don't get moved emotionally for many related things because I think the most emotional in my reporting life that I witnessed was when I was being shot at in Liberia. Yeah, some years ago. So the rebels were fighting the UN troops, and I was behind with Matilda, who were being shot at. So,
what?
So that was the most emotional. I thought I was already dead. But the next one was an accident I covered, in which it was just a fresh accident. Blood was all over. And then I saw limbs that were chopped off, and they were still moving.
Oh my God.
So it means that the body was not gone. So you could see the limbs and you could see the bones, is it the labia or the tibia? This was on a road, is it on the Shire Hills Road, years ago. That was the most emotional I ever felt. But since then, I think we become numb to many of the things. But I have to say that I think the country Ghana has not thought this disaster to be of a national emergency enough. It doesn't mean that the president and his team haven't done good work, or the others who are all contributing, including Media General 3 Foundation, the Member of Parliament for North Tongue especially, and the other members of Parliament in the affected constituencies. But I think that we need to pay more attention, because what will happen post the event is also something that needs to be done. Already the water is not receding. It's a constant water level.
Does it keep rising, or would it keep rising?
I think that where they've spilled to, if it will rise a little bit. But where it is, it's even alarming.
Yeah.
You know, some people, they have various courses of building. So some choose to add 3 more courses. So maybe after the lintel, you add 2 more courses. So some will add maybe 3 more courses. So after the lintel, you do 5 more courses. Some will do 6. So those that we're seeing are those that have higher courses after the lintel level.
What?
So it means that a normal house is drowned.
It's drowned completely.
Yes. And that's how emotional it is. And places that were roads have now become ponds or water bodies. And it's not an easy sight for people who all of a sudden within a 24-hour period have been displaced. You can't carry your fridge. You can't carry your air condition. You can't carry your television. You can't carry your things from your wardrobe, you know. And it's even worse for those who, let's say, have gone on pension or have decided to resettle in their community, build some appreciable, average, nice, self-contained, as we call it. And then you have all this happening to you. It's a very emotional and moving thing. And this water is now dirty. It's contaminated. It's polluted. It's very diseased. So the disease that will follow this, you know, and we saw people who had rashes or were experiencing some difficulties because, you know, they didn't have access to water at some point in time over the last week. So they use it for cooking and some things like that. And people were just living as squatters, and they could just see down the road their houses in water. So it's not, I think that the way we treated COVID, so we need to treat this, because even though it's limited to some few constituencies, we need to treat it like the way we treated COVID. Everybody needs to move in to make sure that we're able to resettle the people, or make them not comfortable, but appreciate that they're also part of the country. And I think that we need to do more than we're doing, actually.
I listened to a conversation you both had with one of the men, and he was saying that, yes, there were simulation exercises, but they didn't even understand what was happening. They were not sensitized enough, because ideally, enough notice should have been given to them to carry some of their items out of the place.
Yes.
But I don't think that was done.
Yeah. You know, that's the difficulty with all the explanations that the Volta River Authority seem to be giving the people. So the Volta River Authority, and I have some friends in some high places within the Volta River Authority, even within the people who do the communication. And they say this is an annual activity they undertake. So for marketing communication purposes or corporate communication, we call it strategic communications, right? So you do stakeholder engagement.
Exactly.
So if it's in your annual plans that you do stakeholder engagements, but this time you've analyzed reports of rainfall or water after rainfall also going down lower channels from the upper channels, then you have to up the game when it comes to the stakeholder engagement. And that is where I have to say that the Volta River Authority failed.
Did not do a good job.
Because the onus, while it lies with the National Disaster Management Organization, the main responsibility is with the Volta River Authority. And I think that down to the wire they failed. After they did those simulation exercises, 4 or 5 months later, you don't expect me
to know when you're going to release the water.
Because you always do those exercises and water never comes to my home. And even the communication that they undertook within those 4 or 5 months later after the incident, so that was before, was that those are around the banks. And then just some few meters, maybe 100 or 2 will be affected. But we've gone through areas which are normal routes. Let's say from 37 to Ridge Roundabout. And you have pools of water. We're not even talking pools. We have places that have become, river bodies. And you have to take one canoe after the other one. You can't, if you don't have money, you can't. And you're not used to even that situation. And I think the Volta River Authority has huge explanation to do. I will not sit here to say people need to resign their jobs because it's not part of our culture. But the reality is that somebody needs to answer for this.
Heads must roll.
Because 2 weeks, a week before, if these individuals, those houses were seen, they were told, because we have places that have not been inundated within the communities or within the constituency. They could have just packed their, no matter how modern your gadgets and your wardrobe is, you just salvage what you have with a week's notice. And a week is 7 days. 2 weeks notice, that's 14 days. You can salvage it. Now, people just wake up in 24 hours, you can salvage. If everybody is rushing within, and this is not an emergency. It's not as if that we're there in a tsunami struck. No. This is not a force majeure. It is never part of a force majeure.
So if they describe this as a natural disaster, that's where I also have a problem.
This is not a natural disaster.
I'm wondering if
this is a man-made disaster.
Exactly.
Because the people were never sensitized to the wire. You need to be sensitized to the last minute. And the Volta River Authority just reneged on their responsibility.
That this is a natural disaster. There was nothing about it. And I wonder, because yesterday we had a conversation about it in the studio, and you listen to the side of the MPP, they don't think that heads should roll. But again, like you said, if you knew this was going to happen, and if you listen to some of the stakeholders within the industry, they tell you that as far back as June, there were signals that this was going to happen. Why didn't we do anything?
I do understand that assigns of the governing party and then the government want to defend because this gives negative public opinion and bad publicity for the government. But they have to leave. But they have to leave the Volta River Authority to take their responsibility. Because seriously, the Volta River Authority just reneged on its key responsibility. It's not a matter of the government structure or individuals within government who, no. The Volta River Authority, they engage the communities. They have oversight responsibility as to how water in their dam will have an effect if it is spilled unnaturally or deliberately. So it means that you should have been on top of your game. And to be truthful, when you get to the community, you get to find that people were just not on top of their game. Of course, at the end of the day, we are calling for maybe heads to roll and things like that. So it becomes a problem for many people. But the reality is that water started falling from Bagri Dam. Every year we talk about Bagri Dam.
Yes, exactly.
If you speak to the boss of 3 News, Michael TJ, he will tell you that don't bring the same storyline. That this and that. We talk about floods
in Accra.
We can sit here and decide the copy or the news story, how structure should be for next year for floods.
Same conversation.
But the reality is, this one, the Volta River Authority could do nothing about the spilling. But you could do something about educating people, giving them the sense of how an emergency, the situation would be for them to salvage what they have. look, if you're in a 3-bedroom house, you are in a 3-bedroom house, a 4-bedroom house, if you tell me that after I've been given an education by Volta River Authority, I can't salvage what I have, then I'm not up to it. So this one, it is not a government or this thing. The Volta River Authority just failed in their disaster preparedness. Pure failure. Pure failure.
And
when you go
that's why I insist that heads must roll, because I'm sorry, you cannot cause this level of damage to my home if I've spent the last amount I have to build my homes. I'm looking at how long this water is going to stay on land. Does it have any effect on even the buildings? Because when I come back, there are lots of things I would have to fix in there. Is the VRA ready to compensate these people whose homes and properties have been destroyed? I haven't heard them make any statement on that. I've heard the North Tongue MP constantly call on them to even come out and indicate that they will compensate these people. They have not said a word. And I agree, if they do not compensate, they must be sued. A class action should be filed against them.
I agree with that.
Because I will not use my hard-earned money to construct maybe a
Look,
small house for myself, and then I have
some
to
of the houses
this.
could be houses that are located in Cape Coast, in Kumasi, in maybe
exactly.
Yeah, some of them even fit East Legon structures.
Exactly.
You know,
because you have to change wiring.
Yeah.
If your tiles are destroyed for some reason, or whatever it is, you have to repaint your home. All those things. I'm not sure if it weakens the structure as well.
Bella, you
calculate how much you're going to spend.
Bella, you
I'm just talking about beyond losing your properties. No, I'm just saying that for whoever, at least you have to change the wiring, because if it's gone all the way up there, I don't know how long it's going to take to dry up before, and if it even makes sense to use the same wiring. You have to change all those things. You have to buy new properties because everything is gone. Are they going to compensate? They should.
Yeah.
They really should. And heads must roll. I'm sorry, but I'm sure we have some of the finest engineers at VRA. So you cannot tell me that they didn't see this coming. They did. Why did they not do enough? They
didn't see this coming because they underestimated the volume of water. Maybe it's coming from the upper channels of the Black Volta or wherever. Because if you take a look at, and this one, when you talk to the weather people, they'll tell you the rain started, our regular weather pattern, which has now changed, is May, June. We went to April, May, June. That's what we learned in school, right? And and this year has been raining consistently. It may not be over time, but consistently patches of rain, various sections from the north, etc. We even opened the Bagri Dam. So I don't know, Charlie, I know that government communicators will want to take this on. I think I loved Richard Ahiagba coming in the other day and defending consistently about the politics, etc. I mean, those are.
Issa was here.
Yeah.
Was he not?
Yeah, but I think that this fight, they shouldn't take the fight. This fight, they left the Volta River Authority, men and come take the fight.
Well, Nanaya thinks that even the energy minister should be blamed partly for this as well, because he's the oversight minister. This falls under his domain. How did he not see this? Yes, she's talking about even PURC, energy ministry, all coming or catching flack for this. So she says it's beyond just the VRA.
This one, well, I think that solely the responsibility should be a VRA responsibility. Energy minister, etc.
PURC. She's worked closely.
Yes,
to them.
But purely,
they all have oversight
there was a lack of information flow. If the minister of energy has not been briefed about it, he wouldn't know. That's the reality. It could happen to any government in power. If somebody doesn't report to you, Bella, that this is happening, if NADMO is not giving the sign that this could happen, because they themselves, they were just caught on the back foot. And you can't tell me that this level of spillage, you deliberately, because it's a deliberate action, not that it's with any malice, but you open your valves or wherever for water to gush out, because you have to save the integrity of the Volta River Dam or the Akosombo Dam. At the end of the day, you should envisage that communities will be affected. Usually, they do some spilling. So you find that if you have friends, I went to school in Bishop Emma, it's in Pando. So I have friends all over from the Esojamine constituency, you have from Whole West, all of them, they are always there. So I know that spilling, etc., is something you witness every year. Usually for those who are within the precinct of the Esojamine constituency, going to Joapon, that will be North Song area, they'll experience something. But to the point where now it's transition into towns. Oh, Charlie. And even now it's gone to along the Volta Estuary to Anglogan, Keta. No,
there's more coming, by the way. If you listen to the VRA,
they said that there's more water they have to spill.
There's more water. And if it rains continuously for 2 days, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So they would have to spill more water.
Yes.
Now, if you look at it, even from the water that flows, so from the Black Volta to the White Volta and the Red Volta, they are all flowing into the Volta River. And there's more rains coming from Burkina Faso and the likes. And so there's going to be more spillage at this point. We need to look for a permanent solution to this problem. And that's why I've always had a problem with how we've not been able to store the water or find a phase
an engineering solution.
A phase 2 for the Akosombo, because there are times when we don't have enough water. How come we can get to that point where we barely have water, and yet we have so much water now, and we cannot even store it for future use?
Yeah.
How?
Somebody has to take responsibility.
How?
Because, right now, the only option now is to wait for the water to recede. Then the other option is you cater for those who are displaced. And that is where I think that the state, the state and the effort that are being made. So Sagleme occupation is one of the solutions, etc. But the thing is, I think it's far off from the constituency. So
in the meantime,
well,
how long are they going to
so we need to take this as a national emergency, because the other water has become, is it black, or can I say blackish or something? Okay, it's become infested. So mosquito will be breeding.
Yes.
It is not running water.
It's stagnant.
Yes. So once it is stagnant, it is not running water. It is stagnant. Once it is stagnant, it is polluted, dirty. So mosquito will breed on this stage. This is basic. There's basic science I learned. Mosquito will breed. People will be suffering. So, and I think even the Ghana Health Service needs to take this seriously as well, because while you are preparing for them to have a place of abode, give them food and other beddings, etc., you also have to do public education.
Yeah.
Because people are, when they are in the canoes, they sweep their hand through the water. Immediately they go off. We don't have that same sensitization we did in the COVID period, that go and wash your hand with soap, with Veronica buckets and all, before you go and touch your food.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Let me just mention that the Ghana Health Service has indicated that they're going to offer free health care to the victims. And so they've announced free medical care packages for persons affected by the spillage of the Akosombo water dam. And well, we know that about 26,000 people have been affected, but they say that they're monitoring the situation daily due to high alertness for cholera and diarrhea-related diseases, although no case has been recorded yet. But those displaced persons will be treated for free. And this is according to the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaji. We know that 9 districts have been affected. But here at Media General, in partnership with 3 Foundation, we're also soliciting help for the displaced persons. And we're asking you to donate items, beddings, food, medical supplies if you can, whatever it is that you can offer. If it's money you want to contribute for us to buy some of these items required, please get in touch with us and we will make sure that these items get to the right people. And the number should be on your screens at any point from now, so you can also send us your contribution. And so please support us as much as possible if you can. And so that's our merchant number. Okay, let's start with our Momo number, 05974 33110, 05974331110, and our merchant number is 120494, 120494. Remember, the name for the Momo is 3 Foundation. So make sure that when you also send your contribution, you reference Akosombo. But if it's food items or clothing or any other essentials you want to send, please come to TV3 at Kanda and drop off your donation. We're very grateful in advance for all the support. And thank you so much to Voltic Ghana. As at yesterday, they had made available about 2,000 bags of sachet water to donate to them. So thank you very much for that support as well. And everyone else who has supported, we're very grateful to you. We are grateful.
Yeah, and I think that because of the activeness of the Member of Parliament for Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, it's becoming as if it's only his constituency that is affected. So we're also making the appeal that the other constituencies, we know that he's social media and very media active, so he will be getting a lot of the attention. But we have South Tong as well as South Tong, Central Tong as well, and then the Anglong constituency and the Keta constituency. So we all have to, and then Nadan East. Esojamain constituency is also affected. So we all have to do our best to make sure that if you can volunteer your services, just in case you're with the associations of assistant physicians or physician assistants, the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, the other health professionals, they need public education alongside the relief activities that are being undertaken by the interministerial team. Well, I think it's also good that the president went there as well. So, so it's we need a composite, comprehensive relief effort, and I think that what we're doing is good. It could be better.
Fantastic.
And the better it is, I think that then there will be more relief coming to the people. We have to say kudos to the team as well.
Yes.
So we have.
Let's take a look at the team.
Yeah. So
well done. Well
the
done.
SOA.
Well done.
There's Na also posing. I love Na's pose.
I know. CNN pose.
Posing in a disaster. It's serious. And then there's Stevie Nette, there's Eddie, there's Andy, and all of you out there.
Yeah.
Oliver is the tallest.
He's the man.
No.
There's a video of Oliver who was taking pictures.
Yes, it was posted by somebody on Twitter.
Yeah, but we also posted it on our page.
Okay.
We should pull it up so we give Oliver a shout out.
I saw it on
Sika
TikTok.
Official. I think it was Sika Official
He
who
was
posted.
he was in the boat.
He was taking photos on the boat
the army boat.
With the army, yes.
And then the 48 field engineers of the Ghana Armed Forces, they are doing some great work there. Yeah. The NADMO officials, the only complaint is that they are not getting enough. But the thing is, you cannot get enough.
Yeah.
Yes, you cannot get enough because they need constant food. They need constant medical supplies. For those who can go and be undertaking medical screening, etc., please do. The people are devastated, and it's good that Media General has also launched this.
Is the Psychology Association also involved in this?
Yes, everybody
should also offer
some of them are
psychological
traumatized.
help. Exactly.
The West Form is you're seeing several meters of water.
Yes.
And just some meters away, you're seeing your house in water. And you're not just seeing, say, the house is just at the floor level. It's at the roof of the house.
Completely.
And you keep wondering, your clothes are in, your television, everything, your disposables, your usables.
Thank God no life has been lost, by the way. Thank God for that. Anyway, we'll come back with some more. This is TV3 New Day. The big issue continues. And then we have an exclusive conversation to the president-elect, with the president-elect of Musiga, Mr. Bessa Simons. That conversation is powered by 3 Entertainment. Look forward to it after the big issue. Don't go anywhere.